Hiya and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a infinity light. It's going to go in that panel up there, which this is the 1991 GMC Safari day van. The panel there would initially have had a television. I think that would have been the tabletop that somebody's used to fill the hole where the television used to go. There are holes in the panel from where it had a flat screen TV mounted, various other switches and odds and sods. So I'm going to pull that panel and I'm going to create an infinity light using the panel that's already there to go back in its place. And here's our panel, all out and ready to be worked on. What we're going to do is mark out a square to cut out for where the light panel is going to be. We'll then router around the edges to round it off, and on the other side we'll cut a rebate ready to drop the glazing panel in, which I'll show you in a minute. And there we go, that's the aperture cut out. So now we're going to round over that edge there and rebate the edge inside to take the glazing panel. And that's the frame done, routed on the back to accept our glazing panel, cut and rounded on the front. So we just need to clean it up a little bit now, and then we can varnish it ready for assembly of the lights. That's the frame all prepped, sanded. I haven't sanded it right back and removed all the old varnish because I want it to look like it fits in with the existing woodwork in the van. That's the lacquer that we're going to be using, so we'll stick a couple of light coats of this on and then leave it to cure. We've moved inside the shed because it's raining outside for the first time in about 2 weeks. We need it. The frame is now hanging up in here to dry, and it's just had its second coat, and yeah, that looks all right. We'll leave that to flash off and cure overnight before we start to put it together. It's the next day, and that is now all gloss lacquered and looking quite nice. So the next step is going to be to install this LED strip light stuff. You get this on Amazon. You can buy the little connectors that fit on the end that are to connect it to a 12 volt or a 5 volt system. This one's 12 volt because the van's 12 volt, but I've soldered my own connector, my own cable on, and just tidied it up with a bit of heat shrink. So the next step is going to be to install this into the back rebate there, so that it shines into the glazing panel. And I've put a bit of Hessian down to protect the finished face, and this stuff has a sticky backing, glue backing, so the plan is to stick it sideways in on that face all the way around the rebate, so that when we put the glazing panel in, the lights shine into the glazing panel. You'll see what I mean when we get the glazing panel sorted and in. And this is the glazing panel that we're going to be using. It's a polycarbonate double walled sheet that I believe is probably designed for greenhouses or flat roofs. It's not very thick. This one's about 4mm thick, which means that we can actually double layer it when it goes in and orientate the lines in a different way. The ridges in a different way. That means that I don't know whether you can see the ridges, but that will mean that when we've got light coming in from both ways, it will reflect off the ridges in the polycarbonate sheet in different directions, and you'll get a cool infinity light effect. So what we're going to do now is trim two pieces up, get them the right size to fit in here, and then we just going to glue them in with hot glue so that they're not going to go anywhere. That's the polycarbonate sheet cut to size. There's two pieces with the ridges running different ways. You'll see that I'm a cheapskate and I had a couple of offcuts, so I'm going to use those rather than cut a new big piece out of the sheet. Won't matter because this is going to be the piece on the far back, so once all the backing's off it, you won't notice that it's two pieces because it follows the line. We're going to remove the backing and hot glue it into the frame, and then the same with the rear one, making sure obviously with this one it's an odd shape or a rectangle shape, so it'll only go in one way anyway. We'll get that glued in. It's very important that you don't get any glue onto the faces of the polycarbonate sheet, because if you do, it'll just spoil the effect. Let's get that glued in. And that's the glazing sheet all attached. Now we're going to put a backing on it so that when you look at it from the front, you won't see through it, if you know what I mean. It needs to be blacked out. In this case I'm going to be using this, which is a little offcut of leather that I've got because I don't throw anything away. I'm probably going to use it leather face down, because the suede side is a bit discoloured, so we're going to attach that by stapling it using the staple gun into the corners and making sure that we stretch it so that you can't really see any wrinkles through the glazing panels, but just to make sure that it's nice and flat. And there we go, that's the backing material stapled into place and stretched. So we're going to peel off the protective film off the glazing panel on the front. There you go. And if we now connect it up to a battery, it'll give us some sort of idea as to whether or not it works. And it does. So it's not great in the daylight, you can't see it perfectly, it'll be better in the back of the van, and also when it's properly wired and my fingers don't keep on falling off the battery terminals. And there we go, all done. It's wired into the existing mood light circuit. It comes on with the mood lights. They're up there. I'm going to be replacing those with blue ones. I've replaced the ones up there with blue. They're just not wired in yet. So when everything gets wired in together, it'll be very blue in here. And as you can see, as you move around, he says try not to get the light from the window in. It gives the infinity effect. I've put the little illuminated GMC badge back on, and that's it, all sorted. If that's helped, then please think about giving me a like, or maybe even subscribing for more useless tips and hints on how to keep old American trucks running. Have a great day, I'll see you next time.